previous balance was 1280, 1,280. We made a payment of 200. What are we going to do with that payment? Minus 200. What's that leave us with? 1,080. So we have a balance of 1,080 as of right now. Then we made some new purchases, $52 and $48. What are we going to do with those? Add them. What's 52 plus 48?
52 plus 48.
100. So what do we do with that 100? Add it onto here. So now our balance is 1180. And it says our periodic rate is 1.6. What are we going to do with that 1.6? Turn to a decimal. So what's 1.6 as a decimal? 0.16. What do you do with that? Multiply it. Somebody do that for us.
Uh, 18.88.
18.88. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that our new balance? No, what is that? Nobody knows what that's called. It's the finance charge, right? Finance charge, that's how much they're gonna charge you. Your finance charge is $18.80 for that period, whether it's a month, a week, whatever, a day, whatever it is. What do we do with that?
Added.
To what? Which was, so we're gonna add 1888 to what? Give me the other number. $1,180. Somebody add those two for me.
That's what he has left to pay.
That's his new balance. All right, now, if we think about this, I don't know if this was for a month or how long it was for. Probably a month. Somebody help me out. 1.6. Let's take 1.6 times 12. Why might I multiply that times 12? 12 months. So somebody do that.
19.2.
19.2%. Does that sound like a normal interest rate on a credit card?
That'd be like a rich person.
That's normal. All right. Most credit cards, if you guys get a credit card, it's probably going to start off at like 17%, but real quickly, after like 6 months or 3 months, or
It'll blow it up and you probably won't even hear about it.
right, they'll send. No, you'll hear about it. They'll send you a letter saying, "Hey, it's going to go up," but they send you this letter with your statement, and then it's got 4 pages of other stuff in it. What happens to that other stuff?
We did.
You throw it away. You don't even read it. Says after 3 months, your interest rate's going to go up to 24%. A lot of credit cards are 23, 24%. So this is probably for a month. So you got charged $20. You're paying them $20. If we do that times 12 for the whole year, that's like $240, $250 that you're paying that credit card company in interest. That's not paying off your stuff. That's just what you're paying them for allowing you to have their credit card. So is it a good idea to keep these balances on that credit card?
Maybe not.
Probably not. Other questions? 12. Kwame charged Kwame's charge account uses the unpaid balance method and has a periodic rate of 1.85. So 1.85%. That's their periodic. I guess Kwame's the guy, probably, right? The previous balance is $478. Watch closely on this because you've seen on the last test, these are the ones that getting a lot of these on each test. He had payments of $150, $60, and $89.95. What can we do with all three of those? So somebody grab your calculator, 150 plus 60 plus 89.95. 60 plus 89.95. $299.95.
Yeah.
So those are his payments. What are we gonna do with that? Subtract them, right? Because these are payments. So somebody do that for me. 78.74. So that's after his payments, right? Let's see. He has new purchases of $38.50, $65.74, and $125.61. What can we do with all those? Add them all up. So $38.50, $65.74, $125.61. $38.50, $65.74, $125.61. $229.80, $85. What are you gonna do with that number? These are new purchases, so what happens? Add them on. $0.59. Let's see. Oh, this isn't one of the algebra ones I was thinking it was. We're still saying, trying to find his new balance. So we have this. Is that gonna be his new balance? We still gotta do the finance charge, right? We're gonna add on the finance charge to get his new balance. So I take that 408.59, what do I multiply it by? So tell me how to write the percent. Multiply those. Say it again.
7.55.
So how much finance charge? $7.55. We're gonna add that on down here. What's that give us? $0.14. That's the new balance. Let's look at this one real quick, because that's not the answer that the book has. Which usually I don't even say anything because this book's wrong quite often. Is there anything I could have done wrong there? We added up, let's see, 1.85%, that's his periodic rate. Previous balance was 478.68. We got that. He made payments of $299.95, so we would subtract that off. Got it. His balance at that point was $178.74, as long as all that subtraction's right there. He made purchases of $38.50, $65, $74. Let's see, that's $190, $200.
178.74 plus 229.85, is that 408.59? Hopefully. Multiplied over here. 1% of 400 would be, or let's say 2%. 2% of 400, 2% would be $2 on every $100. So that'd be about $8. So that's $7.55 is probably right. Add those together, get that.
That's all right.
Seems right. So the book's probably wrong there.
Who wrote this? The sheriff's on there?
Yeah. You just say you got the book right there. You can't figure out who wrote it.
Let's see.
Review wonder why my head hurts all the It's the first time I've ever seen a textbook before.
I mean, I don't know. I believe that because yeah, it's not on the front, it's on the side. It's Nancy Rousseau's.
No, I was talking about the author.
I mean, I believe that though, because all we use anymore is laptops. Like, this is the only class I have textbooks in.
A little harder today. This last section in this chapter too, so what we're going to cover today, average daily balance method. Some credit cards might use this. The reason that they might use this one is because it's too hard for you to figure out what your average daily balance is. They can figure it out because they have it all right there and they just have the computer do it. It's hard for you to figure it out. Along with this, I'm going to tell you today that a lot of credit card companies just use a daily balance and they charge you interest per day. So that's something, if you're getting a credit card, you need to read what are the stipulations on this credit card. How often do you charge me interest? You charge me at the end of each period, whether it's a month, a lot of them are 25 days. A billing period is like 25 days. How come not 30 days or a month?
Pictures. Like you get the other side as well.
Yeah, maybe. But what do you think? What do you think? Why do they bill you instead of going like once a month? It takes them a while to get your bills and you got to pay them, right? So you got a month to pay it probably, but they bill you 25 days and they give you 5 days to pay it. All right, something like that. Does that make sense? So, maybe they bill you on the 25th. That's when they send out your bill. And that's when they calculate all the interest. Then you pay it by the 30th. But this is average daily balance. What's that mean, average daily balance? What are they going to do?
Take everything that enters your account, leaves your account, and average it out.
So let's say on the first day you put $25, a charge of $25. Right? Then the second day you pay $10 and charge $15 more. So they're going to figure out what was your balance for day 1, what was your balance for day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, all the way down through 25 or 30 or however long the billing period is, and they're going to average all those out. Then that's what they're going to charge you interest on. Right? This is part of the reason that my mom, I think I mentioned my mom before, part of the reason that my mom would only have certain credit cards, because she had a credit card that tried to charge her this way, and she knew that every month she paid off that credit card. Well, they wanted to charge her this way because now on the first day of the month, she charges $500. We had to, who knows, maybe we had to go out and buy a new water heater or something. So she charged $500, but she's got the money. At the end of the month, she's going to pay it off. Well, that $500 sets on that charge card all the way through the whole month until her bill comes and she pays off that $500. Well, they're gonna charge her first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day,
They're gonna charge her like the same
so on, all the way down through until that last day when she paid it off and it was zero, the balance was now zero. But when you add all these up, is there still gonna be a finance charge there? Yeah, because your balance isn't gonna be, your average daily balance isn't gonna be zero, it's gonna be 500 plus 500, 20 sometimes, and zero that last day when you pay it off. And so they're gonna charge her a finance charge for all those.
So they're charging $500 for 30 days.
Well, an average of that. So you take, let's say, somebody help me out, let's say the billing period was 25 days. That means 24 of those days, what was her balance? 500. So 24 times 500 is what? Plus, the last day was zero, so plus zero is just that, right? Then you divide it by 25, what do you come up with? 400 and what? 80. So they're gonna charge her a finance charge on how much money? The 480, even though she paid it off before the end of the billing cycle. All right, so they're making sure that even though you pay it off every month or pay it off quick, that they get you for a little bit of a finance charge somewhere along the lines. They think it's fair. You're thinking that way. Maybe they're thinking, why do I need to loan you money? It's fair to them.
It's a job.
It's not a job if they're not getting paid to do it.
They get
They save
paid
us the money because they got
There's plenty of people that do that.
If they don't pay it back, how are they getting paid by those?
No, I mean like they're charging them more.
Just to lend them their money, that's.
So-
the thing
so you're
for
saying-
them.
So you're saying, but I'm a nice guy, so you shouldn't charge me as much as you charge Brianna because I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, but if you're a nice guy, but you're not doing any stuff.
They want to make money off of everybody. That's their business.
They don't care if you're a grandma in Florida or.
I'm just saying, like, paying, like you said, they're paying it off.
But they want to make money. That's their business.
I know, but that's still not, like, if you're paying it off, the only people, because there's plenty of people, I'm sure, that aren't paying stuff off.
So you go into a convenience store. You stop at the gas station on the way home and you say, you know what, I stop in here every night. Instead of charging me a 60% markup on this candy bar, since I stop in here every night, why don't you only charge me a 20%
That's not
markup?
even the same.
Charge everybody else 60. Yes, it is the same thing.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Why are they gonna do something different for you and make less money off of you?
I'm saying they don't have to charge you, like, why are they charging you if you paying it off at the right time?
It's
though?
their business.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
gotta make money.
No, that's not, you don't get it.
I do get what you mean.
There's plenty of people that's not paying their stuff, but they can charge them plenty more because they're not paying it off.
Okay, so they charge all those people. They charge all those people that.
I'm sorry. No, you're right on
He just wants to give
The
up.
best way to do it is to have the full payment for it, which is like impossible to.
Right.
Then,
Yeah, that's why you save money.
yeah.
You charge those people, and I make $5,000 off all those other people. Why don't I want to make that extra $5 off of you? It's still my business. It's extra money for me.
It's just unfair because most of those people that own those companies, they were born in those positions, but you know what I mean? That's just how it is. So it is what it is.
Might be. So then you make sure that you can't say something's unfair if you put yourself into that situation then, right?
Right.
So if they send you out this thing saying, hey, get our credit card. You say, yeah, I'm getting this credit card. And you fill out the stuff and send it back in, then can Andrew complain about the terms that they give you? If you signed up for it, then, so you make sure you read the stuff carefully and know what you're getting yourself into. I think we might have talked a little at one point about, back 15 years ago, you guys don't remember it, but there was a big housing boom. And then all of a sudden, 20 years ago, a big housing boom. They were building a whole bunch of houses and all these new houses popping up everywhere. And they were selling them like hotcakes, and everybody's buying themselves a brand new house. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, everything falls out, and all these banks are foreclosing on all these houses. A lot of that, when you go in and you get a mortgage, when you go to buy a house and you get a mortgage, a lot of mortgages will have what's called a balloon payment.
I need to talk about this.
And credit cards might be the same way, right? Just different credit accounts might be the same way. They have a balloon payment, and what that is all of a sudden you get down to where you're close to paying it off, and then all of a sudden you got one big lump sum to pay off. And a lot of mortgage companies, they don't want you to default on that, all right, because they want their money. But if you do default on it, then they don't get your money, but they get your house.
So either way, they'll get more money as they get the house back.
Not necessarily.
No.
Because-
But then that way they can resell the whole thing for like.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But we just looked at a house the other day, and they repossessed it or whatever from the people who owned it, and they're asking $40,000. They're asking $40,000 for it. Well, we walk in there, and if Andrew's getting ready to get his house, if the bank's getting ready to kick him out, what's he probably do to that house?
Destroy
He
it.
destroys it. And that's what happened to this house. It's got no sinks, no bathroom stuff in it, nothing. Everything's ripped off the walls. All the carpets, nasty as could be, it's all got to be pulled back up.
Because it runs on.
One of the houses right now too. That's a lot of houses you walk
Get
into.
your mom in the house there.
Fix it up and flip it. We get a lot of money out of it.
Maybe.
Are you
But
guys
it matters how much you put into it, and it's even
Where
worth
you guys
it.
moving out of your grandparents' house?
See, and that's what my son's looking at buying this house.
With my stepdad.
Oh, really?
He keeps wanting me to tell him, yeah, go ahead. And all I keep telling him,
You're going.
it's a lot of work. You got a lot of work to put into that place. You're gonna have to, said it's good that it's a brick ranch house and it's on a slab, because everything's probably still fairly square and stuff, and so we can probably do the work. But he needs to sit down and
Realize what he's really getting into.
Right.
I have a friend that's trying to do that too. His dad used to do that. And he said he was working like every week, 7 days a week, fixing stuff until he could finally sell it. Like it takes a lot of work.
And then, if you're doing all that, you gotta know where is this house located? Where am I, who am I selling to? And this house is in a community that's not the greatest. And he goes, and they're trying to sell the house by saying stuff like, the last time it sold 10 years ago or whatever, before they took it away from these other people. It sold for $120,000. Okay?
There's a lot of factors that play into that. I mean, like the community at the time, the value, or I don't know.
And is it still worth that much? And look at the other houses around it. Are you going to sell it to somebody for $120,000 when this house over here looks like it's worth about $2,000?
Isn't that messed up that your neighbors can affect your property value?
Yeah, that's the way it is. And that's,
Well, I mean, there's a house out on Westmore, like, they were trying to sell it over the summer, and they priced it like, if it wasn't $500,000, it was like right there. It was like 400,000, and I was just in the picture, I was like, there's just no way. Like, I just don't see like, it was a nice house, but the price for it was just insane.
I think I know what
you gotta,
It's the, from the
You gotta-
It's back from the road a little bit. Yeah.
I don't
you gotta know your area.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the one that, do you know the one that floods real bad?
Yeah.
people you know with the nicest house and cars, they pretty much owe their life to somebody, how much
Yeah.
debt they might be in, you know what I mean?
That's why they're trying to sell it for more, so they can actually try to get a little bit of
But like,
profit out of it.
yeah.
Right on this, average daily balance, you find your average daily balance by the sum of all the daily balances. Again, is this something that when you actually have a credit card, are you probably gonna be able to use this method? You're not gonna know your daily balance unless you set and you keep track of it each day, methodically doing all this. It's probably not gonna happen. So they have it because they have it right there on the computer and they have it set up to where it's put in a program and that computer knows, hey, I go from this day to this day, and then I add them all up and divide by how many days they were. The next step is to calculate the finance charge. Your finance charge is your average daily balance times your periodic rate. I think all the problems on the homework, they're going to tell you what the average daily balance is. Or they'll tell you the sum of all the balances and you divide by the number of days. But they're going to tell you most all of it. So it's not like you're going to have to go down through and say, okay, their daily balance on day 1 was $10. On day 2 it was $18. On day 3 it was $35. And add all those up. That's probably, they're not going to have you do that. The finance charge, once you find the finance charge, you get your new balance. Unpaid balance plus the finance charge plus your new purchases. Something that I didn't put on here. You might subtract off what? So if you made payments, you might subtract off your payments. That might happen, depends on the setup. Some credit card companies may add interest in different ways. So during this chapter, we went over a couple different ways. Every credit card, just like last chapter when we talked about the different ways to a store or a company might show you a sale, every credit card might give you a different method of figuring or giving you a finance charge. So you got to be careful. You got to read carefully when you're looking at these credit cards. I know that we just got rid of like 2 or 3 credit cards that we had. One credit card my wife had since she was 18, and we got rid of it a few months ago because they were jacking up the interest rate and putting all these extra finance charges on there. So she had it for 30 years, and we called them and said, hey, cancel this card. There's another one that I have in my pocket, we're getting ready to cancel it because the finance charge on it is extremely high right now. And the way they're adding it on is making it even that much worse. So you really, really got to read stuff carefully and make sure, because they'll entice you in with, pay off your other credit card with this one, pay off this with that, and
There you go. Place you in a bigger hole.
and that works if you're going to get it paid off within, maybe that first 6 months or that first year or whatever. But you got to really watch for the percentages.
I've been getting a lot of stuff in the mail to get credit cards lately. Because you're going to college. Yeah.
See, they're not supposed to be able to do that. We talked about that last time. They're not supposed to be able to send you stuff, but somehow they're getting around it now. Don't forget periodic rate, APR. What's APR stand for again? Annual percentage rate divided by 360. That'd be if it's daily. If it's daily, that's how we would figure that. All right. Right now, what's going on with the stock market right now?
It's bad.
It's bad. It's going down. And the reason it's going down is because the prime rate, we talked a little bit about prime rate classes ago, the prime rate, which is at, I don't know, it's like 3.25 or something percent right now or something. I'm not sure. But the government is trying to do what with that? They're going to raise it up a little bit because it's supposed to, it went way, way down. Prime rate used to be like 5 or 6%. And then we had a real bad economy there for a few years, so they dropped it way down so that people would start buying houses again and start spending money again instead of hoarding or saving all their money. Well, now they're trying to raise it back up to level things off. And as they're raising that up, the economy is going back down. So it's like you have a level, or it's like you have a teeter-totter here, and as we raise this up, the economy does what? It sort of falls down, and they're trying to find that good balance of that. Debbie Walsh's charge account uses an average daily balance. New purchase included method of computing finance charges at a monthly periodic rate of 1.5. Last month, her average daily balance, so this is like what they're going to do on the homework. They're going to tell you the average daily balance. What was her finance charge? So somebody help me out here. We're going to take that 231.09 and what are we going to do with it? Times it by 0.015. Somebody do that for me. 3.46. They ask us for her finance charge, so do we have to go any farther than that? Make sure you read the questions carefully. If all they want is her finance charge, then $3.46 is what they're going to charge her. Which way is a credit card company going to get more money out of you? If they charge you how?
Like compound every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Right? So what do you think a lot of credit card companies do?
That's what
They do it that way. Right? If they're going to make more money off of you that way, then now there are some stipulations that the federal government puts on them. And that was one of the things here 3 or 4 or 5 years ago that federal government put a bunch of stipulations on the credit card companies and the banks and stuff, saying, all right, you can't just charge people outrageous amounts like this. There's got to be some set rules for this. Amir's credit card finance charge is based on average daily balance method. New purchases included. His monthly periodic rate is 2.7%. Oh. Why does it say his and her? Guess
Not sure yet.
I'm not sure what Amir is. It's not a good thing. Her finance charge for the past billing cycle was $39.50. Find her average daily balance. So this time we're going backwards. How could we find that average daily balance if we're looking at that? We go back to the previous one. What was our setup on this one? What did we do? Average daily balance times the percent should equal the finance charge, right? Now let's go to this next one. So we should have average daily balance times the percent should equal the finance charge. That formula is still going to be the same. Do we know the average daily balance? So that's going to be our X or our variable, whatever you want it to be, times,
2.7.
what do you change that to? How much finance charge was there? How do we solve to figure out the average daily balance that Amir had on the account?
Divide.
So divide by 0.027. What's going to happen when you divide by 0.027? Number gets what? Bigger. Somebody do that for me. So if I come up with $12, about $40 was a finance charge, right? This is about 3%. Probably should be a decent sized number.
Yeah, 1,462.96.
1,462.96. I don't know, is that right? So the average balance,
That's right.
average balance on a Mears account is about $1,460. And how much are they charging for the finance charge for that month or whatever the billing period was? About $40. Selma's finance charge on her credit card is computed at 1.8% of the average daily balance. Last month, her average daily balance was $429. How much did she pay in finance charges? What would we do there again?
Take the average daily balance times 0.018.
All right, so somebody do that. Let's figure out her finance charge. Now notice on these, we're not finding the new balance doing it this way because are we taking into consideration the payments that this person's made on the account? No, all we're doing is saying, all right, let's go back using my mom as an example. The average is $429, but we got down to the end of the month, and what was her balance on her credit card? Because she paid it off. Well, after that, after they do the method, using this method, is her balance going to be zero now? What's her balance going to be now? $7.73. All right, and that's why my mom, like I said, she called the companies and said, "Hey, I'm not paying you $7. I paid that off long before the bill ever came. Why are you charging me a?" But this is the way. She just didn't read carefully. If this is the way that they charge their finance charge, then you're responsible for paying that. So let's say your car breaks down. You're on vacation. Your car breaks down. You got no access to cash right there at that moment, and you got to pay somebody $2,500 to fix your car so you can get your butt back home. If that's on there one day, are they still going to charge you a finance charge even though as soon as you get home you go get the cash and you mail it to them? Yeah, they're still going to charge you those finance charges. That's your assignment, page 292, 1 through 7, 11 through 21.